Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another retro magazine thing. Because this time we're going to be looking at Games Master International issue number 2 from September 1990. So we're going to be seeing lots about what was happening in the role-playing industry back in the early 90s. So absolutely great stuff in here. Before the end of the 90s led to the end of so many different role-playing companies and the transition between TSR and Wizards of the Coast, which kind of changed the industry completely. But anyway, before we have a look at that over on the desktop, I'd like to take a moment to talk about my patrons, who I'd like to thank from the absolute bottom of my heart for their support of the channel. And in return, they get access to these videos a week early, they get access to Patreon exclusive videos, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, if you're interested in supporting the channel, and I sure wish you would, then there's Patreon in the description down below. If you check it out, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's have a look at Games Master International issue number 2. So, this is Games Master International issue number 2 from September 1990. And Games Master International is one of those magazines which is a mixture of reviews and articles about role-playing. It's not wall-to-wall adventures or anything like that, but it is a nice mix and a lovely look back at the era. It's trying to cover all of role-playing as well, so we're going to get a lot of tabletop RPGs, we're going to get a lot of play-by-mail stuff, and we're going to get loads and loads of live action role-playing, something I've never really been interested in. So, on the cover, we've got a image which is Shadowrun. So, how dark is your future? The world of Shadowrun. We're going to delve into the Shadowrun world, explaining it for people who don't know, and we're going to be delving into a few books of it, which is the way Games Master International liked to work. It would introduce you to new games. And of course, this is before the internet was at all popular. So it was a fantastic way of finding out about games without going into a game shop, opening up a book and looking through it. Because you're not going to be finding out about it online. You're going to be finding out about it through magazines. Inside, we've got an advert for alchemy, sort of fantasy type jewellery. We've got the editorial and the contents page. And my mum's old address written up in the corner. We've got some news articles here. So, Hero System Rulebook, Games Designers Workshop, updating their Twilight 2000 2nd edition. Stuff about Robotech there. New Joe Dever Lone Wolf Grandmaster game books. Palladium, a big item on all the new books. Fanzine readers might be interested in a new copy of The Jester being available. A very plain Palladium books advert for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, including After the Bomb, and Mutants of the Yucatan. And then we've got some areas on computer games. So one from US Gold, Murder, don't remember that. What else we got? Loom, I do remember that. That was a LucasArts game, which involved music, I believe. You were creating tunes and weaving stuff together. Hero's Quest from Sierra Online. The Amiga version of Neuromancer. Anyway, going in, we've got a section on Shadowrun. So, a nice piece of artwork there. Introductory sort of story explaining about the world. So how the rules work, skill webs, character creation, combat, magic, the matrix, so explaining all the different areas of it, criticisms of the game. But we've got a checklist here, so the main rules, Seattle Sourcebook, Sprawl Sites, Street Samurai Catalog, Paranormal Animals of North America, some adventures, DNA DOA, Mercurial, Dream Chipper and Bottled Demon, the Games Master screen, and they've just received a Queen Euphoria. All of which we've covered on the channel before. We've gone through all of that sort of stuff. An advert for Strategy Plus magazine, an adult mag for kids. A review of New Earth play-by-mail game. Obviously keeping on the cyberpunk type background with Shadowrun, we've got GURPS Cyberpunk, a nice review. They only review it 71%. I would have rated it higher. I do think that GURPS Cyberpunk is very, very good. I'm not sure. I probably should read through the article and find out what their complaints are. We've got Cyber Rogues from Iron Crown Enterprises. Sorry, actually, the book's Sprawl Gangs and Megacorps. What else we got? Advert for some cool t-shirts as Deviant Games, which were a big supplier back in the day. What else we got? Oh, it is Cyber Rogues and Sprawl Gangs and Megacorps. So 2 source books for Iron Crown Enterprises as Cyberspace RPG. West End Games advert amongst Chris Harvey Games for Ghostbusters International. A big review of the Hero System rulebook. I've been asked to cover that at some point, and I must get around to it. I'll put it in the poll. Escape from Hell, a PC game by Electronic Arts. No memory of that one at all. Lots of small adverts for different suppliers. Circuit's Edge, Conquest of Camelot, Don't Go Alone. Another very plain advert by Palladium Games, this time for Rifts. They really could have done with jazzing up their adverts to be more than just a wall of text. GURPS the Prisoner. That's something I'm fascinated by. I love the Prisoner TV series. Would love to have a look through that book. Spirit Adventure, live role-playing. What else we got? Advert for L. Ron Hubbard's Mission Earth books. I remember being interested in those but never getting around to reading them because they were too massive. Web of Deceit, The Sting and Spider Web Wars by TSR for Top Secret SI. So their spy game. Yeah, it looks fairly interesting. Only 68%. Are the reviews in this fairly low? Let's see if we find any with higher. Advert for Mind Games, Battle Troops for Faza, so part of Mech Warrior. Or Battle Tech, rather. Advert for The Cavern. What else we got? Games Master book extract from Dragon Realm. Latest fantasy novel, Ice Dragon. That artwork looks very TSR. That could almost be Raceland off the Dragonlance novels. But an excerpt from a novel to get us into it. A closing part advert for The Cavern. Reviews of novels. The William Shatner books Tech War. Scions of Shannara. Don't really see any novels I'm familiar with. An article on live role-playing. The Serpent Society. Wonder if they're still going. Chance to win the Wraiththul... okay, wait a minute. Letters trilogy from Storm Constantine. I remember Storm Constantine. She did some great books. That's a name that hasn't passed through my mind in a while. And we've got a scenario. A mini-adventure outline for Skyrealms of Jarun. Not too many maps, but a lot of text. Could be quite interesting. I remember them releasing a Fear magazine here, a horror magazine. We've got a Pantheon for the Stormbringer RPG. Background and modifiers in there. We've got play-by-mail games. Nothing which really catches my eye too much, but lots and lots of them. I remember one of the guys in my group used to run a play-by-mail game. How he made his living. How to make live roleplay weapons. Making latex weapons. Really, really interesting article. Almost tempted to go through it and try and make one myself, because just having a live role-playing axe or whatever would be kind of cool. I remember those adverts for Dr. Dark, a guy with a rat on his head. What else we got? An advert for Cyberpunk 2020. Win the Axeman's Chopper for live role-playing. A reenactment of the Battle of Soulfields. So, live role-playing type stuff. Battle recreations. An interview with Christy Marks from Comics to Computers. A list of conventions throughout the UK mainly. Various clubs, including the Glasgow University Gaming Society. Do they have the Paisley one? The Hobbits that I used to be a member of? No, this is probably before their time then. Advert for It's a Crime, which was live role-playing. What's coming in next issue. Some classified ads. Letters page. An advert to subscribe. And then Critical Mass by Dave Langford. As I said before, he used to write the same article for White Dwarf magazine, reviewing books, but obviously White Dwarf kind of went out to the role-playing market and just started covering their own material, so Dave Langford moved on. Took his column with him. I don't really see any books I recognise here. Fred Saberhagen, Berserker Base. But finally we've got Alan Moore and David Lloyd's V for Vendetta. We've got Computer Dial interactive telephone games, including Fist. I went into detail about these a couple of times. These were choose your own adventure style, but on the phone. So instead of turn to page 58, you would press 2 to go to that chapter. And obviously be paying a very premium rate number. So we've got Castle Mammon, which is Fist, and Fist 2, The Rings of Allion. Now, I know these are sort of being kick-started now to bring them back, but I have no idea more than that. I must look into it. On the back cover, we've got MB Games adverts for Axis and Allies and Shogun. Have no idea how interactive those were. Are these just ordinary MB board games, or are these more like war games? Anyway, that is Games Master issue number 2 from 1990. A great look back into the 90s. So, that was Games Master International issue number 2. A great look back into the early 90s. Loads of interesting stuff going back. So many great games coming out. A real joyful era for role-playing and its rapid expansion in a way that hasn't happened today, even though the industry is far bigger today. Now, something I forgot to mention during the video. The Games Master International tended to print stupid little jokey quips on the spines of the magazine. And I mentioned that on the first issue, but I haven't on this one. So this one, it's GURPS, pardon me. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up. It was just a weird way of identifying them. They told you what month they were on. They didn't say the issue number, but they just had these silly little quips on the cover. Very jokey, tongue-in-cheek stuff, but it makes that magazine stand out as a bit different. Anyway, as usual, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough. So thank you very much for watching. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.